Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. Always a pleasure and a treat to welcome Pastor Jake Tavisi from Canton Baptist Temple. Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to be with you, Susie.
You always have so many things going on there. I always just have to say what's new, and then I just sit back and you do all the work. So, Jake.
We always enjoy our time together, that's for sure.
For
Well,
sure.
the first thing we have going on is our new addition to our church. We have been in the process over a year now of constructing a family life center. And so the construction has gone well. As with any construction project, there's been a few hiccups and a few delays. We were hoping that as you and I were speaking today, that we'd be open for business already. However, we're not. And we're probably looking to the first of the year to have it completed. But it's been amazing to watch things go. A year ago, August, we broke ground. And things went slow in the beginning, but once things got started, it really took off. And last winter, the weather was conducive to allow them to work most of the winter through.
Wow.
And then when the pandemic hit in March, same thing. The workers were able to work through the pandemic issues, and it's amazing what they've done. So the outside is coming together very well. They're putting up some finishing touches of brick. We have, in addition to the Family Life Center, we have some carports being put around the building, so that one on the front of Whipple is already completed and being used, a place to pull up and drop off your loved ones in the inclement weather.
Nice.
So we have that, and we'll have two more, one with the Family Life Center and then another one on the back of the church as well. So it's been great to see that. And, you know, it's interesting when you have a building project, it does project the fact that things are going on at the church, and it's neat. Building projects are very positive, so we're very thankful for that, and also thankful for the fact that we're debt free throughout the whole project. We've been able to pay for it as it goes, and you know, maybe at the end we may have some debt that needs taken care of, but our pastor is very good financially, and we try to be good stewards of what the Lord has given us. And he's blessed us through the pandemic and beyond. So we're very thankful for that.
Well, you're so right that new building, new growth, it does indicate life, and that's always a good thing in a church. What kinds of things will be taking place in the Family Life Center?
Well, the main part of it, for me, that I look at is the gym. We're going to have a full gym in there, so we'll be able to have basketball leagues and other indoor sport leagues in there. That's going to be a big thing. But we're also going to have a stage in there that you can have concerts and events, banquets, dinners. Nice. So it's going to be a full functioning gym. Also, there'll be a restaurant-style kitchen that's put in so that we can cook and have our meals there. So that's something that's going to be in there as well. And then we're going to have a really large atrium in the front that's going to be conducive for everything from small gatherings or personal meetings with people that you can sit and have conversations, but also flexible enough to have small meetings with people, small group meetings, as well as maybe events. So that's going to be in there as well.
That's exciting.
We hope to have some accoutrements such as a coffee shop and those kind of things in there. And also going along with it, plans for some children's playrooms. Nice. There's going to be new offices in part of it. Also for our staff. Right now our staff is spread throughout the building at different floors, and as well as our secretaries to an extent, and we're trying to bring them all under a one roof or one circle so we can get together. And then the other blessing is it's attached to the church building, so there'll be an entrance both from the lower level of the church as well as the upper level, so Sunday school classes and kids can make their way over to the gym for activities during Sunday school or Wednesday nights, or, you know, if you have a dinner after church, you can just walk over under complete protection. So we're very, very excited for that.
Is this something that will be a venue that other organizations can rent out, or will this be for CBT events only?
Well, I think initially to get it up and running is probably going to be for CBT, but we want to be able to use it as an outreach as well. When those are some of the things that we're working on as to how's that going to happen. But I think it's going to be enough to handle for us. When we have that, we want to have enough events going on in there. We want to have enough sporting activities to go along in there. For instance, one of the things that we're going to change over into is the Upward Basketball League, which is a lot of outreach to other people.
Right.
And so that's something that we hope to start in January, is having that. So there's a lot of interest and a lot of things going on. And we're still going to, for a while, keep our activities building up and running. My senior
that one
ministry
across the
meets
street.
there. Yeah.
Okay.
So our senior ministry meets there. We've been, of course, have that sidelined right now because of the COVID crisis.
Right.
But Lord willing, we're going to start it back up in January, the first Thursday in January, and get that back up and running. And I use it right now. Actually, it's been a blessing for my Sunday school class and for my Tuesday Bible studies because it's the only place I can have it that will accommodate the social distancing that we need for those two groups. So we've been using it right now 2 days a week over there, and it's been a blessing to have that and have people spread out. So it's a valuable property, and we think we're going to need it and use it for a while. And if we don't down the road, then we have other options with that as well.
That's right. You mentioned COVID a couple of times here. So how are you doing personally, and how is Canton Baptist Temple doing? I think I visited there, maybe doing a baby bottle presentation for the pregnancy center right before lockdown.
Yes.
And just curious as to how your own services have been taking place. Did you go online? Are you back? Are you partially back? Where are you?
Well, thanks for asking. First of all, if you remember the last time I was on your show, we were talking about the article that I had written.
That's right.
Through the coronavirus. And so personally going through it on the counseling end, I received a lot of phone calls regarding the areas of family time, too much family time, not enough family time, loneliness, and then, of course, death. So that's how I worked through that, by helping myself to put that all down on paper and then get it out to families. And I was just thinking today that it's amazing. I've had those pamphlets out. I've given them out to a lot of different areas. I've been on, of course, your show and others talking about it throughout the winter, but it's still relevant today because we're still going through it. And it's sad to say that it's still relevant. I wish it was irrelevant.
Print up another batch. I wish we didn't have to have it at all, but it is. I think you were inspired to write that, and it's helped a lot of people.
There's no doubt about it, and I hope it's helped and blessed a lot of people. But we had a time when we were doing only online. We were doing the online service from our main worship center with a pastor and a small praise team. And then our Sunday schools were meeting via Zoom and on Sunday mornings. And those are going very, very well initially. And then we opened up back with services in May. The last Sunday in May, we opened back up. And we went to 2 morning services so that we could have social distancing. And this worked out very, very well.
Great.
We have a service at 8 o'clock now and one at 10:15. And it worked out very well. And our Sunday schools, again, at that point in time when we opened up in May, we had to move our Sunday school hour to Wednesday evenings because of childcare. So that took a hit in the Sunday school area. I was averaging in my Sunday school class over 100 easily, sometimes 120.
Wow.
And then on Wednesday nights, I was having about 40, 45, and that was both in person. We opened them up in person for our Sunday school classes on Wednesday nights. And we took a hit. Wednesday nights is a challenge for a lot of people with work and other commitments. So we took a hit on that. And then we started in the fall here, we started back with most of our Sunday school classes back on Sunday mornings at 9. So my Sunday school class now is doing live like I said, in the activities building, but we're also Zooming it for those that are unwilling or can't come back yet.
Right.
And we've added another 50% to our class. I've doubled my class size basically. So it's working well. Our attendance in our 2 morning services, we're about 80% back of what we had prior to the COVID.
Wow.
Most churches are averaging about 30%. So we feel very blessed, and it's worked out. So our next step is to get our younger families back on Sunday mornings, and the issue is childcare, having enough workers, and having a safe environment. So we're working on that right now. We're initially looking at November 8th to possibly be a start date, and that's a flexible date, as well as everything happening right now, right? It's very fluid and flexible.
Exactly. We've all learned to go with the flow.
Exactly. So we're still doing
Yeah.
the live feed. We have a radio. We're on radio at that hour. We have a tape delayed service each week, and then we're doing the live stream still for the 10:15 service. So we're trying to accommodate as many people as we can, and it's working. Even in a Baptist church, when we had to stop passing the offering plate, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
And we have offering boxes now.
Yeah.
Different things, and so we've had to adapt. And even for the Lord's Supper, we've taken the Lord's Supper a couple of times, and we have a new way to do it where we don't have to handle it ourselves.
The little individual packets and things.
Yes.
Yep.
Both of them are together, and actually it's reduced the amount of time that it takes to administer the Lord's Supper, and that's been a good thing as well. So we've adapted and changed where we need to, and then we all would. I want to get back in my old Sunday school classroom that I've been in for a long time. I'm ready to do that, but right now we just can't. So we're making do with where we are right now.
I'm so curious as far as church growth, and you kind of alluded to that going online has opened up our churches and these worship hours to people who might be hesitant to step inside a church, but might be interested to know what's going on there. And I'm guessing that what the enemy intended for evil, God is using for good and is bringing your worship service into more homes than you may know. Any idea about that?
Well, absolutely. Again, as I said earlier, just taking my Sunday school class for an example, on an average Sunday prior to the pandemic, I averaged about 107. But on Zoom, I was averaging about 110, 115. I had several days over 120. And there were people, some of them were irregular attenders who were now attending on Zoom because it was easy. But also there were people coming on that people from our Sunday school class invited.
Right.
Because the invitation was safe.
Yes.
They didn't have to see anybody, talk to anybody, and so they tried us out. So we, throughout the pandemic, we have had church growth. We have had families join. We have had individuals join. And even from the standpoint, several of them that joined through baptism. And so we've had a couple of baptismal services since the pandemic, the lockdown ended, and we've seen some church growth. And I think, one of the things I heard from our people even was this: I'll never take church for granted again.
No, isn't that right? Isn't that right? Yeah. There's some things you think are never going to change, and that would have been one of them. And boy, but didn't we really find out that the church is the people? It's not the building. We're
sure
grateful for all of those, but right away, our coming together and worshiping together had nothing to do with what building you were in, because we were in thousands of different buildings.
And to be flexible from that building. I mean, even right now, I'm really thankful for my Sunday school class and the people that are making a sacrifice, because right now on Sunday mornings, they have to cross the street. We have a crossing guard out there with the sheriff's department, but they're crossing the street, and we're running out of time from the standpoint of good weather, and yet they're willing to do that. And so that, again,
very cool.
It makes a whole issue of why do we come to church anyway? Well, what's the purpose?
Yeah.
And I've been in the book of Isaiah in our Sunday school classes, and Isaiah chapter 1, verses 10 to 20 talk about a fact where very seldom does this happen in the Word of God, but God rejected the worship of his people, Israel, and he rejected them because their worship was impure. They had sin in their hearts. And one of the things I challenged my Sunday school class is, why are you here today? Why do we come to church? And if we don't come with a pure heart and confess sin, so that we come with him very, very pure, that he may reject our worship, and we don't want that to happen. So
we certainly don't. Wow,
that's something that we have to deal with.
We are visiting with Pastor Jake Tavisi from Canton Baptist Temple. It's always fun. The time always flies. We need to take a short break here. We'll be back after these words. You're listening to Our Community. Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Pastor Jake Tavisi from Canton Baptist Temple. You do have a really neat senior class I want to get back into. Who all is this open to?
Well, we call it Forever Young. Years and years ago, it was called the Jolly 60s. And that was back in the day when people that were 60 years old, like I am, retired.
Yeah.
And they had put their 30 years in the shop or the steel mill or whatever, and they retired. And for the next 20 or 30 years, as much as God had given them, they went on trips and they did all kind of neat things together. Well, as you and I are talking right now, I still work full time.
Right.
And many people
Same
age
here.
60 and over do.
Yes.
And so now we've called it Forever Young because the age has gone up a little bit in there. However, it is still based for age 55 and up. And again, we don't check ID at the door. And if someone's younger than 55, they're more than welcome to come. But we've increased some of our lower end people in their mid 50s and the early 60s now. I've got a good handful of them. They're coming on a regular basis. In fact, they're not only coming, but they're also helping to serve as well, which is a great thing.
Nice, yeah.
So it's a great ministry. It's been going on for a long time in our church, probably over 40 years it's been going on. And what it is on Thursday mornings, we meet from 10 to probably closer to noon. At 10 o'clock, we usually start. I've got a great team over there. I'm blessed with such a good group, Susie, that I feel that my calling over there is to love them, to touch by handshake, or of course now we can't do that.
Elbow bump, yeah.
To make an elbow bump or a touch, and then to teach the scriptures to them.
Yes.
So I have people that do everything. It's a free will offering for the meal that we give them, but I've got gentlemen that handle the money there. I've got a gentleman that handles entertainment for me. I've got several ladies that alternate cooking. We have people that serve, people that clean up. And so I have to go over there on a Thursday morning. I get to meet and greet people and love people and then preach. And so it works very, very well. So we have a time usually from 10 to 10:30 where we have some entertainment. And sometimes it is spiritual. We have some quartets or other activities to do Christian music for them. We've had Malone University down several times. They're different choirs and different drama groups that come down and done a fantastic job. But sometimes we have people that come in and do music of their time, some of the music from the 40s and the 50s, and some of the even some of the music that they 70s. Had during World War II and the 70s, right, exactly. And they enjoy that. And they have a good time with that. And then a couple of times a year, my wife is a cardiac rehab nurse, and so usually in February, her and I tag team that day where she teaches about the physical heart. I teach about the spiritual heart. And
nice.
We tag team, and they love her when she comes. She doesn't get there often, but they love doing that. And we have some special events throughout the year. We have a big 4th of July usually. We have a big Thanksgiving time, a big Christmas dinner. And it's great, and the fellowship is absolutely incredible. So that we usually from 10 to 10:30 have the music / entertainment. Then the 10:30 to 11 I speak, and then we eat. And then when they're done eating, they leave. They get there really early. We don't start till 10, but there's people over there at 8:30, quarter till 9, and they bring their coffee cakes and such and sit down and have great fellowship one with another. And then the other thing that we've been doing, which has been a blessing to us, is some of the senior care facilities have wanted to, present their wares there. So I've been permitting them to do that, setting tables up and advertising their companies. And they always have neat free gifts for the people. And so that's been a big blessing to them as well. Gets them in a familiar position for assisted living or nursing homes or, if need be, Alzheimer's care and dementia care. So they know a little bit about it ahead of time. So I've tried to give them some of that information. I think we need to let people know ahead of time some of these things are available to them.
Well, and honestly speaking, haven't we always been the group that everybody's trying to market to?
Yes.
We are the baby boomers, and
Yes.
we are who everybody has always tried to market to. So from the time when we were little, selling us toys, to now selling us, retirement homerooms. So
Exactly.
it's sort of like we're kind of used to being a target market group. But I'm
Right.
also thinking that as a group, well, maybe it's just because of my perception of it. I mean, I don't feel old. Do you feel old? I don't.
No, I don't.
I
I
don't know
don't.
anybody who does necessarily, and so I think as a group of seniors, we're kind of unique with different needs than our parents and grandparents before us had. Do you find that?
Well, I do, and one of the neat things about that, I know Altman Hospital, we have them there once a month. The WOW van comes and does blood pressures and different things like that. But the Altman group has also put together the name is escaping me right now, but it's sort of a seniors group, and they have all kind of information and all kind of activities that seniors can go to. And so again, like you're saying, like you and myself, and I was afraid to put you into my age group, Susie, to be honest with you,
That's okay.
because you seem younger than I do. But
Bless your heart.
but what we're interested in is activities. Let's take a trip here.
Yeah,
Let's go
yeah.
visit this place, or let's go. Again, I don't play this, but the big game for seniors is pickleball. Let's go play pickleball somewhere,
Yes,
or
it's
whatever.
a new
And they're
thing.
offering those kind of things as a preventive health care, which is very, very important.
That's right. That's right. And I think, I see an awful lot of seniors where we live in our neighborhood, everybody walking out, I mean, we've kind of, well, we were the joggers back in the day. And so it just sort of, we've tended to taking care of ourselves. And maybe it's paying off now in these years. Now, are you saying that you've got room in the building where you meet, that you are still meeting in person with seniors, with your senior group?
No, we're
Okay,
not.
so this is going
No.
online now, right? Or as a Zoom
Actually,
meeting
it's
now?
not even active right now. We're
Oh,
going
how
to
sad.
restart it in January.
Okay.
January 7th, we're going to restart it. Because of the vulnerability of that group,
Exactly.
three things happened with that, Susie. Number one was the age vulnerability.
Yeah.
Number two was we use our buses and vans to bring some in, probably about 20%. And then the third issue is serving a meal.
Oh, right.
They look forward to that meal. It's a very important thing for them. So we had to shut that down, and so we're keeping tabs on it.
Sure.
And again, we all learn lessons in ministry, and Pastor Jake learned a very big lesson. Why would you have such a wonderful, large group of people and not have created your own database for them? And so Pastor Jake has learned. So in January, I will be starting a database.
Good
because
idea.
Seriously, I have communicated, like, for instance, my Sunday school class, I did a monthly newsletter for years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it weekly now.
Yes, right,
Okay,
exactly.
so I really have failed in that area of communication. I want to get a newsletter out to those seniors and such and such. So first thing in January, I'm going to get a database and be able to communicate better with them on that. So we have that on hold for right now, but it was going so well. We were gaining momentum, and we are continuing. We're going to do that when we start in January to have a good start off to 2021, and Lord willing, we'll move forward with that ministry.
Amen. Let's just pray that it's a different kind of year. I think the fact that when you have an event that starts at 10 and people are arriving at 8:30 in the morning, that tells you are meeting a need. This was something that absolutely was meeting a need. And so, yay, going to be happy to see that starting back up again in January. You've got all kinds of things going. What else is up your sleeve? You've got so many things going on.
Well, I just am going through the process. We talked earlier about the coronavirus article that I'd written, pamphlet I'd written. I'm just in the stages now of going through with a fine-tooth comb. It's amazing when you write something and you want to put it out there that you don't want to have any errors in it. Mm-hmm. And that coronavirus pamphlet, it took me probably 6 weeks to get everything ironed out. Some of whether it's spelling, spell check's wonderful, but spell check makes mistakes as well,
right.
And hanging participles and dangling sentences and all of that. So it took me a while to get that. So God had burdened me recently about men in the church. So I recently have am working on and have in front of me as we're speaking right now. I have a first edition that I have to go through and correct, but a call to men. And men in the church are MIA. They're missing in action a little bit. And it's amazing. I alluded to the fact in my article here that years ago, the Marines had a slogan, "We're looking for a few good men." Remember that slogan?
Mm-hmm. Sure do.
Well, then they changed their slogan to "The few, the proud."
Oh, that's
So
right. That's right.
They were looking for a few, and that's all they found, was a few. Okay? And we know the high qualifications and standards of our Marine Corps.
That's right.
But the point is that is the way it is in our church, in our society today. There's just a few good men stepping up. And so what I've done in the article was talk about, first of all, the need that all men have, and that need is Jesus Christ. And so I talk about developing a relationship with God through Jesus Christ. And then from that standpoint, the second thing that we talk about here is God commends us as men to be leaders in our churches, leaders in our homes, leaders in our places of employment, leaders in our communities, leaders in our neighborhoods. And then ultimately he does. He has a call in our life, whether it's full-time ministry or whatever your full-time position is. That's a ministry wherever God has placed you.
That's right.
And then ultimately he does have a calling on some in the full-time service. So I'm working on that. I'm going to get it hopefully out here in a couple of weeks and have it available, again, to our people here at Canton Baptist Temple, but also some of the other areas that I'm able to get it out by mail or in the hands of people as well. So
I know there's going to be
something
people
that I've been working through.
We're going to be wanting to read that as well as your coronavirus response. So how can we get a hold of some of these really good materials that you've been working on?
Well, you can call the Canton Baptist Temple at 330-477-6267. And my secretary, Terry, is the one that is a receptionist, so she'll get it out in the mail to you. And then after you read it, I have my email on there. If God's blessed you in the reading of that or you need more, my email is on that as well. And then, again, I'm doing this for people's help. There's no cost. There's no copyright. So if somebody wants to make copies of it or use it, that they can be free to do that as well.
Wonderful. Well, if you are interested in stepping up as a man in the church and following the Holy Spirit's leading in your own life, this is going to be something you're going to want to get. And also just a good review, as we hopefully don't have a second wave of this bug, but as winter is coming upon us, we want to be prepared, and those extra challenges that this COVID brought with it. What you've put together is just really good information, solid information to have. So let me give the number again, 330-477-6267. Awesome. Pastor Jake Tavisi, thank you so much for all you do in our community.
Well, you're quite welcome, Susie, and it's always a joy to be with you.